Hello, everybody. It's good to be back. I'm back at my apartment at my desk, and we are in some trades. I've already taken one trade already, and currently in two others, which I'll mention in a second. So, today's video format, we're going to talk about the trades um, and what profits been made so far. And then I'm going to go into another system that I think is beneficial to mention in my videos. I talk a lot about uh, basket trading. Well, recently I have talked a lot about basket trading and how it can be beneficial or profitable if done right, if done correctly. Now, I haven't talked about how if basket trading is not done correctly, what can happen, and a bit more of the negative side of basket trading and some of the pitfalls to stay away from. So, I'm going to use Viper as a example for today. Some of you may know Viper since I've come from ForexSignals.com and he was a previous trader there. Um, yeah, I'm gonna pick on him a little bit today. He's a good trader, been around for a while, but there are some things in his strategy that I think could use some improving. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. So I also had a few um, comments from my last video, which was just a vacation video. Um, and it was just a fun thing. I might have more of those in the past or in the future. But some people were, or Angel Dixon was asking about the backtest in the background of that video. Was it a manual system or was it an EA? It was definitely an EA of mine, just doing different settings, testing in the background. Most of the time, I have some kind of test running in the background uh, during most of the day, just testing different settings, different EAs to see uh, what I can find and increasing or decreasing drawdown on my current algorithms and EAs as well. Um, so let's get into the trades. Today, I just had this one short scalp of for a profit of $27.80. That one closed out pretty quickly. And the entry on this particular trade. So we're going to talk about the setup now. That setup is pretty standard from what you guys have known me to take in the past. So I actually got up right about on this candle. So I was late getting up in the morning since I got in pretty late last night driving from Virginia. And so I took this position a bit late. Now, the actual setup was right here. This was the inside candle setup after a bigger push on the upside. And if you go to the 30-minute time frame, you'll see that the push was pretty substantial. A lot of bullish candles in a row. And if you go to the 5-minute time frame, I was looking for a good place to enter on a pullback. And that's when I saw that inside candle setup. Now there was a couple more that were potential setup candles. There's one here. There was one here. There was one here as well. And the reason why I wouldn't take those positions, just scrolling back a little bit, I'd look more for a place of resistance, support or resistance. And the actual entry that I took was the first real level of resistance. So I'm looking at these two levels, and all the ones before that were not really strong. I mean, you can see here we have the area that I'm talking about is right in here, and we wanted this to break all those levels. Now you could say that, oh, there's some support, there's some resistance levels here. They're just not that strong. There's not a lot of pips in these areas as well. I want this to be a bigger push, so it makes more sense to enter on the continuation on the back on the downside after it reaches a more substantial resistance point. And so that's why it was up here, and that's why I entered where I did. And it actually exceeded that level. So if you look a little further past, you'll see that the first area for taking that potential trade was this setup. this is the first setup, inside candle setup that I would consider taking. And so because I wasn't awake then, obviously I didn't jump in. So I took the second one. Now, if you're looking at these two candles, or these two setups, and you look at the pullback that happened, so 25 pips on the second position, and a measly 2 pips profit on the third position, on the first position. So you see that is more than enough profit. I wouldn't even take 25 pips profit on that position. I'd take more like 10 to 15 since it was a short term M5 trade. And so even if I did take this first actual setup, I would have entered on the second setup as well, and this trade would have been overall profitable. Okay, so uh, this was a nice about 10 pip scalp, and it was closed out pretty fast. Okay, so the second position. This one was entered here. Now you might be thinking, well, why would you enter at this level when it actually jumped right from that place? Well, if you go to the M30, you'll see that there was a pretty good candle setup here. I liked this setup. It was barely made a new high than the previous candle. It closed low. I was expecting this to push down a bit from there. So small continuation of the trend potentially at that place, and it didn't happen. Now, there's a couple reasons why I took that. One was again the 74 hole number was there, so I was thinking that this could be a place of volatility where I could get a bounce down. It could also shoot back up from that point. I was willing to take the chance because of the candle setup, and also all the bullish candles in a row. This was the first bearish one, and so that's why I entered on this trade. Well, you can see that it didn't work out too well. It shot up quite a few pips after that. For my entry, it went up about 65 pips. And so after that, I was looking for a good opportunity to re-enter on the short side. So I waited. I didn't see any candles. This was a big bullish candle. Nothing here, nothing here. And then I received another inside candle setup. So I saw this candle, the bullish one here, and then the inside candle bearish, and so I entered on the next candle. And it started slowing down a little bit, shot up again, made a new high, a couple new highs, and then this candle happened. Now this one is nothing really special. It wasn't an inside candle, it wasn't a bearish engulfing or anything like that. But when I saw this candle happening, I realized that this could be on the way back down on some pullback. Who knows how big? And it pushed down, and you can see where my take profit for both my positions, order 2 and order 1, and the take profit for both. So currently, that's what the pullback is happening right now in this area. I need a bit more. So we'll see how it plays out. Now, typically, I don't really show a lot of open trades in my videos. I decided to show one today so you can see how I'm handling the situation. You can see that with these two positions, uh, you can see with these two positions that $54 profit is what I'm expecting from these two trades, and a 14.6 pips profit from them. So not a lot. It's a small scalp. At this point, since I have 2 orders in, I'm just looking for to close out with just a small profit. All right, so let's get into what I wanted to talk about, and that was Viper's system, if I can find it. Okay, so here is one of Viper's main MyFX book accounts. Now, I wanted to get into some of the, I guess, things to stay away from in basket trading. And it's one of the reasons why basket trading has a bad rep is because the idea that you don't have a stop loss on any of your trades, and that you just let them ride through until they you either get a margin call or until the price pushes in your favor. I've talked to a lot of people, and they they say that's why I don't like basket trading is because um, you keep adding on to losing positions until eventually it turns into your favor. Um, so in some cases, yes, we us basket traders we do add to losing positions, but we uh, you also need a time and a place to say I need to stop adding to this position because it continues to keep going against me. So you need a place to call it quits and move on to the next opportunity. Viper has been around for quite a long time. He doesn't really quite go for that name anymore, but he still manages quite a few funds. And this is one of his funds that have been around for quite a while. And if you go, he also has history back all the way in January 2016 through 2017. So it's been about a year and a half. And you can see the drawdown constantly going almost throughout his entire performance history. There are times where the drawdown actually stops, and like right in this area, and then it breaks apart again. So currently he's been on drawdown trades since the beginning of this year, actually, and they haven't really closed out, and they are short positions. It's been pretty obvious that he's been betting on the euro US dollar going down. And unfortunately, um, the Trump situation has been very tricky for a lot of investors. Uh, he Originally in the beginning of this year, a lot of people were buying the US dollar, thinking that Trump was very positive for it, and that suddenly went sour. And a lot of investors started realizing that Trump is volatile, um, and he's maybe not so good for the U.S. economy anymore, um, because he can change his mind on things very quickly. Uh, in the current situation where he's being investigated with Russia ties, and there is impeachment talk, so there's a lot of negativity surrounding the political scene in the U.S. And that's a lot of it is revolving around Trump, and um, and so that's why the uh, situation for Viper has changed. He was thinking that Trump is positive on the U.S. dollar, and that would help him out throughout the course of this year, and that has suddenly changed. So, with that being said, uh, that's when basket trading can be a little tricky. Is if we're holding on to positions for a long period of time, either with a wide stop loss or no stop loss at all, and we're holding on to positions for weeks or months, political scene or the uh, fundamental scene can really change a lot, causing our current positions no longer make sense in general. And so, why hold on to them if the political scene has changed? So at this point, Viper is most likely just basically hoping and praying that something changes. That's not how you're supposed to approach the market. You're supposed to enter your trades when when you find that you can have an edge in the market or something has changed, um, something positive US dollar, buy it, especially if you think that it's going to be something longer term. And then if something changes, that's when you let go of it. So that's how you kind of have to approach basket trading is make sure that you're not holding on to positions too long. And Because the climate can really change and affect those positions. And also have a stop loss. Now, I don't think that Viper has a stop loss on any of his trades, causing them to just stay in for so many long months. And if you guys know with trading and holding on to positions that you um, get a swap fee. You get fees. The fees add up for long periods of time. So uh, he's losing money the longer he holds on to these positions. Now you may be wondering why his stats have gone up a lot recently, uh, and his drawdown has gone down. So his drawdown has gotten higher, but his balance closing of his profitable trades has gone up. Now he does that where you can see these are the majority of his positions in there on the short side. But if you go to his later open positions, you'll see that he also has a hedge on the buy positions on the hedge side, just in case the market continues to go against him. And he'll have a hedge in and close out positions to help offset the drawdown. And in this case, it's not really working. As you can see, the drawdown does increase, the balance does increase as well. But this is concerning because he is hitting some pretty heavy drawdown. And you can see that right now his drawdown is at 40%. So how long should he hold on to these positions is the big question. I think that he's held on to them way too long now. If it were me, I would have probably closed these out when when the Russian stuff started getting pretty heated. Um, and having a stop loss on them on his trades would really help uh, move on to better positions or trading opportunities instead of trying to continue to work with this situation that it continues to keep getting deeper. Okay, so when basket trading, make sure that you have a stop loss. If it's wide, that's okay. At least you have a stop loss in place. Do you have a cutoff? Do you have a percentage base that you close out your trades and start looking for other opportunities? I know I do, but do you? But it's important to always have a plan of even a backup plan. And so multiple plans in place of what to do in certain situations to uh, help you decipher when to take the loss. All right. So our current position now keeps bouncing back and forth up here. We did get pretty close to closing out in profit. Um, I do have a position that just went in on the euro pound. This one is from the my algorithm. Push down, inside candle setup here with these two candles, made a new low, inside candle bearish, bullish I mean, and with the potential to shoot up from there. Now I won't close out all these trades at the same time. I will close out these two separately, so the two on the pound CAD, since that they are manual trades, and but the euro pound will do its own thing with the algorithm and looking for roughly 50 pips, 50 to 60 pips profit. All right. So I hope that answers some questions regarding basket trading. Obviously, I'll talk more about it in the future. But yes, I think it's important to talk about uh, the appropriate way to do basket trading because it is easy to get stuck in holding on to positions too long, which I definitely disagree with. All right. Well, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you likely tomorrow or the next day. See ya. Bye.